Châteauneuf-du-Pape translates to Newcastle of the Pope. It got its name when Pope Clement in the early 1300s relocated the papacy to Avignon and then built a castle in this hilltop town. The wine is named after the village. It's known for big, spicy red wines and increasingly more high quality whites. This is a traditional region where you'll see lots of old wood cask and cement tanks. The appellation consists of just over 3,000 hectares of vineyards spread out through 5 villages. It's one of the great places for Grenache, especially those grown on old bush vines, as winemaker Laurent Charvin explains. Why do you prefer Goblet for Grenache?
Goblet is especially very good because when it grows like that. You have a lot of shadow under. It limits the dryness and you have, in fact, so the grapes are very well protected inside by the leaves. One face south, one face north, so you have more aggressivity by the sun.
Châteauneuf-du-Pape Reds are based on Grenache and they're backed up by Syrah, Mourvedre. Actually, 18 varieties are permitted in red blends, including white grapes. You'll sometimes hear that there are 13 grapes in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but if you account for the different shades of Grenache, Claret, and Picpoul, it's actually 18. And then ironically, you can make varietal wines. Some of the best Châteauneuf-du-Papes are 100% Grenache. I've even seen 100% Mourvedre and 100% Syrah. The whites are also blends based on grapes like Grenache Blanc, Roussanne, and increasingly Bourbon, Claret, and Picpoul because of its high acidity. When it comes to the vineyards of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, there are two things that people associate. First are these old bush vines, as you can see, and second are these galets, these round stones. They absorb sunlight, they absorb heat during the day, and then at night they let that heat release, and then the vines warm up. Ironically, not all the vineyards are in galets. I actually prefer a lot of Grenache in sandy soils.
Normally, when you have more sandy soils, you have more finesse in the wines. It helps you produce less heavy wines. You have a lot of purity and freshness too.
With climate change and with problems with high alcohol, who knows how important these galets and vineyards will be in the future, but it's a cool place to look. So I'm at the annual Printemps de Châteauneuf-du-Pape. There's over 100 producers here. I come here every couple years to taste the new vintages. But here I'm going to taste through everything. I'm going to visit a few producers to show you what Châteauneuf-du-Papes you should be buying this year. Some of the most famous Châteauneuf-du-Papes include Chateau Rayas, Domaine du Périgord, and Chateau de Beaucastel, but I'm going to introduce you to some other names that I think are worthy of your attention. Guigal and Chapoutier are the royal names of the Northern Rhône, but they're also making wine in the Southern Rhône. Les Bernardines is the vineyard in Châteauneuf-du-Pape by Chapoutier. A lot of people know the red, although I think the white is worth your attention. Made out of Grenache Blanc, Grenache Gris, Claret, and Roussanne. It's aged a little bit in wood. Châteauneuf-du-Pape Blanc sometimes can suffer from a lack of acidity, can feel too fat. It's made in stainless steel. Sometimes it can be too simple. If it's over oaked, it can be not very pleasant. This is really well done. Just typical lime and mineral type notes that you'll find at good Châteauneuf-du-Pape Blanc. Weight texture here is wonderful. Good Châteauneuf-du-Pape Blancs can have the weightiness of Chardonnay, but they have those distinctive slaty and slightly, I would have to say, lime, lemon, and almost white stone fruit type of flavors. Long, I think this is outstanding. The first Châteauneuf-Pape Blanc I ever had was from Chateau Lanier, and the 2023 is excellent. This is a blend of Grenache Blanc, Roussanne, Claret, and Bourbon. We did taste a few vintages of Clos de Bournier, which is outstanding. It's the top cru white, but it's not readily available. You'll be able to find the Blanc because Chateau Lanier makes a lot of white. Actually, 15% of their production is white wine, which is quite rare in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. This is perfect because it's a blend of some barrel aging and some stainless steel. You definitely get a lot of lime and mineral flavors, just a little bit of yogurt from the barrel aging. It's got a touch of sweetness from the wood, but not too much. It's not too oaky. Don't think big kind of old school California Chardonnay. Think of maybe a young Montrachet, that kind of oakiness. It's palate coating. It's big. It does better with a few years in the bottle. I also like the reds from Chateau Lanier in a masterclass of old vintages. Just a few days ago, I had a 95 Clos de Cadet, which was one of the best wines in the masterclass. But whites is something unique. inland there. Next up is Grand Tinel. I've always thought their Châteauneuf-du-Papes offer ridiculous value for money, and even their high-end wine, which is 100% Grenache and sandy soils. I really like the whitelist vintage, the 2023, made out of Grenache Blanc, Bourbon, and Rousson. It's pretty weighty. It's a little bit aromatic. You almost get like a white flower, apple, lime type of flavor. Definitely mineral, a little bit of a guava type note. The barrel fermentation here is absolutely perfect. It's weighty, it's got texture, it's not too oaky. Serious wine, it's enjoyable, and definitely with a few years in the bottle, it will reward those who cellar it. Now for reds, I love this producer, the Domaine de La Côte Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2022. 2022 is a bigger vintage. Domaine de La Côte makes a ridiculously low amount of bottles. I think they make like 15, 20,000 bottles of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Blend a GSM, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre with a little bit of Cinsault, some white grapes like Bourbon. I really feel like this producer, the wines can smell like Burgundy. They don't have the acidity of Burgundy, but it can smell quite leathery. You got those earthy type notes, aromas. Grenache really can resemble great Pinot Noir. A little bit of white pepper, some flour. It's just ridiculously complex. Fantastic texture, really mouth-coating tannins. Just an outstanding wine. And as far as Châteauneuf-du-Pape goes, this one is not crazy expensive. It's not the easiest to find, but I recommend you check it out. I wanted to make this video and mostly show off the entry-level standard Châteauneuf-du-Papes because they're the ones that you'll be able to find. But I had to make an exception for André Brunel, the Cuvée Centenaire. It's the reserve wine. It's got several perfect scores in the past. It is over 100-year-old Grenache, pure Grenache. I had the 22 and I'm just tasting the 23 out of that. And I have to say, it's incredible. It's perfumed. A lot of strawberry, leather, and meaty type notes on the palate. It's just mouth coating the whole way through. The tannins are silky smooth. There's so much flavor, so much strawberry, so much meaty type flavors. I love that when you have good Grenache, it can be pretty. In a way, this kind of resembles mountain Grenache to me, which is odd because Châteauneuf-du-Pape is all pretty flat. This is not a cheap wine, but it is a collector's wine, and it's worth seeking out. It's awesome. If you can't afford this or spring for this, I think the Les Cailloux standard André Brunel Châteauneuf-du-Pape is beautiful as well, but this is something special. Next up is a producer I've always loved. This is the Chateau Vaudieu, the Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2022 GSM blend Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. I like this producer because the wines are readily available. They're always classy, clean, and just classic Châteauneuf-du-Pape style. This, for me, has lots of baked cherry, baked strawberry type notes. A little bit of pepper, has that little bit of chocolateness that sometimes we like in Châteauneuf-du-Pape reds. A lot of people like in Châteauneuf-du-Pape reds. While they are big, rich wines, they're quite elegant on their feet. Nice dancing acidity. The wines feel just balanced. Delicious. The tannins are round, grainy. Next up is one of my favorite wines, not only in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but in France. Bois de Bourson, the Châteauneuf-du-Pape, I'm tasting the 2022. I actually sell this in the shop I work at, and I love it because it's very traditional Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I love how it's a little bit gamey, red fruit, stemmy, earthy, and I love the gaminess. Not too wild, not too horse settled, but just you get that touch of Mourvedre in it. And what I like about the style of Bois de Bourson, they use a lot of stems, so the wines are more elegant. They're not big monsters. 14.5 alcohol, more kind of a medium body Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And tannins are ripe, round. The label sticks out, so if you see this bottle on the shelf, it's going to be very obvious. And if you want the taste of real traditional Châteauneuf-du-Pape, this is something that you have to try. Next up is the Les Clos de Cailloux. This is the Les Safres Rouge 2023. Blend of mostly Grenache with a little bit of Mourvedre in it. This is the second wine, I think. I think the basic wine is the entry-level wine. Les Clos de Cailloux. I've always enjoyed the style. A little bit bigger, richer style, but still the wines don't get out of control. This is a little bit more gamey. But I think because it's mostly Grenache with Mourvedre and no other grapes. Mourvedre gives that gaminess, that spice. Literally like red meat, almost strawberry, cherry, a little bit of soil, pepper. I love this because I just think spice, spice, spice when it comes to this wine. I love the peppery notes. This wine in 2023 was a really good vintage of the Châteauneuf-du-Pape. The wine's quite vertical, goes straight down the palate. Tannins are really just excellent, just fine grain. This just screams for Côte de Boeuf or any kind of beef rib. One of my favorite estates, Chateau Mont. I haven't been here in about 6 years, and I noticed the style has changed a little bit. The fruit has gotten a little bit darker, and the thing I love about these wines is price quality, and you can get them. They're pretty well distributed. The Mont 2021, again, more dark fruit than I remember, but it's leathery and the mineral flavors jump off the chart here. I mean, you really get slaty wet rock flavors along with a little game, really leathery. And I hate to say, good Grenache, good Châteauneuf-du-Pape can almost be Côte de Nuit in flavor a little bit with that leather notes, which I like about the estate too, is they hold the wines back a couple of vintages so you get mature bottle. Still, this is big time tannins. Really, really outstanding wine. What I'm really impressed with, I've never tasted the Le Plateau. This is their high end Châteauneuf-du-Pape. 2016 was the first vintage. This is the 17. Only a few thousand bottles, but this is something to behold. I mean, you're getting just pure leather, dark cherry, mineral flavors right out of the gate, kind of smoothness, although it's quite structured here. Tan quality is outstanding. I mean, this is super serious wine, but not for everybody's budget and not for everybody's availability. If you want to try the house style, I recommend just the Maraudon Châteauneuf-du-Pape or the Côte de Rhône, which is also outstanding. Next up is one of my favorite producers. Let me see if I get this right. I'm gonna look at the sign. Domaine de la Charbonniere. I love this producer. Classic label, just a classic style of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. To me, one of the most balanced reds year after year in this appellation. Like lots of red cherry, strawberry, and neat notes. Got like this clay and mud type of aroma. A little bit of spice. It's just, when I think of Châteauneuf-du-Pape reds, I think of the Charbonniere. Even though 2022 was a bigger, richer vintage, which this is mouth coating, the tannins are round. It's just a straight up delicious wine. This is a Châteauneuf-du-Pape that I have no problem sitting out on the porch drinking by itself, even in hot weather. Outstanding wine. So next up is Domaine La Barroche, the Fiancée 2022 Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I love Barroche because the wines are really, really clean, but they still have character. And it's so funny. I've liked their standard Julien Barrault for a long time, but this vintage of the Fiancée, which is half Grenache from 100-year-old vines and then half Syrah, really speaks to me. It's really quite plush. You get the pepperiness, but you get the baked strawberry notes of the Grenache, or the pepperiness of the Syrah with the baked strawberry notes of the Grenache. And since 2022 is really solar, really bright, it's super plush. Still, it's Chateauneuf. It's got like that meaty character to it. Next is one of my favorite small producers. This is the Mont Thabor Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2021. Mont Thabor is an old school traditional Châteauneuf-du-Pape producer, uses a lot of stems. The 2021 is 100% Grenache. Some of the best Châteauneuf-du-Papes, like Rayas, for example, are 100% Grenache, the red wines. This is leathery, smoky, baked strawberry notes, a little bit of black pepper, rich, full body. When you have wines that use stems during the fermentation, whole clusters, you get these chewy tannins, and that's what you get here. I think this is outstanding. It's a wine that's really underpriced. I know it's small production, but it is worth seeking out. This is an estate that I've always respected, but I'm visiting for the first time, so it's nice to get intimate with the wines, tasting 4 vintages, 23, 21, 20, and 19. Le Vieux Donjon needs no introduction for Châteauneuf-du-Pape fans. The old dungeon. Only one white made, only one red made. GSM, some Senso. I'm tasting the 23, which is on the market in Europe right now. 22 is probably in the US. 22 is a little bit richer, a little bit riper. I love the 23. Le Vieux Donjon, for me, has always been that round French type feel, that really round mouthfeel. For Châteauneuf-du-Pape, quite silky actually. A lot of leather, strawberry notes. What I like about Le Vieux Donjon is they're traditional Châteauneuf-du-Pape's, traditional French wines, but they're still very clean. No oak at all, roundness from aging in big, big foudre. They're just really delicious wines to drink. not monsters, full-bodied, ripe, round, chewy tannins. I describe it like this. A lot of times Châteauneuf-du-Pape, I would like to pair with some kind of grilled meats. The Vieux d'Anjou wines, I would always just like to sit down, sit in a leather chair, and just sip on them. That's the best way to describe them. Mm. I know the 2016, couple years ago, was in Wine Spectator's top 10. These are wines not to be missed. They're not ridiculously expensive. They're fairly well distributed and they're affordable in fine wine shops. Next is the Domaine Saint Patrice, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, 2020. This vineyard, this Clos, is right on the south side of town. It's actually where we shot one of the earliest clips in the video. I know Châteauneuf-du-Pape very well, but this is the first time I'm actually tasting wines from this producer, this vintage. And I love it because it's just got that classic meaty, leathery, Rhône type flavor. A lot of strawberry. If you like traditional French wines, this bad boy is for you. Rich, unctuous, full-bodied, suave, silky. The tannins are just a little bit grippy. This is one of the more smoother Châteauneuf-du-Pape you'll see on the market. Outstanding wine. Next up is a wine that I've loved, and this is the first time I'm at the estate. This is the Domaine Charvin Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2022. This is a style I fell in love with a long time ago. Rolland uses only stems, all cement, no wood here. And what I love about this style of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, it's not a big plush fruit bomb. It's more linear. It's more savory. I definitely get like a lot of, I guess, baked strawberry, but the leather notes and the spice, baking spice, black pepper really come out. Almost kind of like a little bit of wax and orange peel come out. It's a really complex wine. And despite the fact this is 15.5 alcohol, this confuses a lot of people because you don't feel it. You feel quite fresh. It's a vertical wine. Slices right through the palate. The tannins are chewy, almost Syrah-like tannins. This bad boy with some flank steak would be awesome. This is not the wine for everybody that likes big, plump Châteauneuf-du-Papes. This is for people that like wines with a little more savoriness, a little more grip on the back end. But if you want to support really small producers, this is a bottle worth checking out. I actually sell this at the shop that I work at, and I recommend it often. Next up is a producer I just discovered on my last visit to Châteauneuf-du-Pape back in 2021. And I'm going to look at the sign to make sure I get this right because my phone say is terrible. Domaine de la Côte de l'Ange, so the Hill of the Angels, Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2022. Small producer. I first tasted their white a few years ago and was really impressed. 2022 is a straight GSM. Again, the more traditional French style wines. So you're going to get those leather notes, those meaty notes, baked strawberry, even get a little bit of chocolate, some baking spice. And I'm impressed with this wine because 2022, it was a bigger vintage. But this wine has a little bit, I don't want to say leanness, but it is quote unquote elegant. And then it finishes off with chewy tannins. Almost you want to think of something like Nebbiolo, Barolo-esque. Not quite that way, quite elegant, but the tannins get pretty chewy on the back end. Also, since a small producer, not well known, not one of the more affordable Châteauneuf-du-Pape reds you'll see out there on the market. Chateau de la Fond de Loup has been one of my favorite producers in Châteauneuf for quite some time, and this is the first time at the estate. It's quite small. I didn't expect it to be so little, and my favorite wine from them, and this is the 23 is really worth checking out, is the Le Puy Rolland Vieille Vigne Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2023. This is 100% Grenache from sandy soils. I just took a stroll through the vineyard, Le Puy Rolland. It's really amazing when you stroll through a vineyard of a wine that you really like. Again, Grenache and sandy soils, that's where it's at for me in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. This literally smells like my grandmother's strawberry rhubarb pie with a little bit of pepper added to it. You get those mineral, earthy notes. More of a slender Châteauneuf-du-Pape. No, it's not so big. Tannins are soft. If you want to understand where all the hype is in terms of Grenache and sandy soils, like Crayas, some of these more famous Châteauneuf-du-Papes, this is something worth checking out because it's affordable. I know in the States it's well under $100. Next is a producer I just discovered this year, the Domaine Tourbillon, and as a Watts guy, Tourbillon, one of the most expensive complications in the world. That's neither here nor there. This is the Domaine Tourbillon Châteauneuf-du-Pape Rouge 2021. A GSM blend, also has a little bit of Cinsault and Muscardin, some white grapes in it as well. I had this last night at the producer party, and I think I like it because I like more the red fruited style rather than the dark fruit Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Cherry and pepper juice, almost like Kirsch cherry pepper juice. A little bit of baking spice, a little bit of. It's just a really pretty wine. This is the 2021 vintage, by the way. This is what I really am looking for in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. It's sleek and elegant, yet it fills the palate with flavor. Not a well-known producer, so you can probably scoop up bottles at affordable prices. Really excellent wine, and for me, it's always exciting to discover new wines in a region you feel like you have a good grasp on.